Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. It's Music Therapy Laz here with Janice. How you doing, Janice?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
I'm trying very hard not to push that button. Okay, just once.
I did put the tweet out to Johnny about getting batteries, so that applies to you too.
The only one that I don't have a good battery for is this one. That's the groaning moan.
Oh,
Welcome everyone to the Music is Therapy show. So these little boxes are kind of therapy too in a way, right? They're not necessarily musical, but they're funny, and laughter is a good form of therapy as well. We'll have to talk about that someday. Laughter in music, right?
uh-huh.
Comedic music. Have you heard oh, we'll get into that. We'll do a show on that. That'll be fun. But today's show, I don't know why or how it popped into my mind, but I thought it would be a good time to talk about how music is used in grief and dealing with grief and loss. We've talked, in general about how music is such a great form of therapy for so many things, right? So many things. And I hope you guys are enjoying these shows because this is really what I really wanted to do this channel about from the very beginning. And um and then I was just swept up by the gear stuff. And you see what happened. And so I haven't purged too many things yet, but I'm in process of purging. And there's a process of grief going on with this too, so that's part
I'm
of kind of
sure.
what yeah, it's part of the grief and loss. There's a little bit of a feeling of grief and loss there too. But the good thing about it is that the process helps you learn to lose and learn to let go, and and then also realize, like we do in life, when we lose someone special or something happens, change happens, that we understand that that's all part of it, the cycle of life, all these, how many songs are written about life and death and loss and grief, and how music is like, God, it's one of the, I mean, remember hearing that song by Eric Clapton, Tears in Heaven, you know?
Right.
I mean, man, does that not just hit you, right? God, I mean,
We had this um module when we were doing workforce training at work in the factory,
hmm
and one of the things was like to build consensus, accept change, know when to let things go, and
right.
stuff like that. So you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Yeah,
So
I
like
was gonna say you're gonna do that line from the I love that guy. I had Kenny Rogers' album
yes,
when you had those big hits back then in the late '70s. Well, mid to late '70s,
accepting change.
Yeah, accepting change is so important. Well, we've all probably heard the stages of grief and loss, right? I mean, there's there have been things added to that by people in the psych world. But there's the shock, at first, the shock of it all, right? And we'll say hi to the chat in a second. Then there's the denial. No, it can't happen, because those things happen one right after each other real fast, but the denial can last for a while. And then anger with
Months and
whatever,
months.
you know anger even at the person who's gone, if it's you lost somebody, right? Maybe angry with the person who stole something from you, and that's the loss. And you're angry. And then there's the bargaining. But when we're talking about loss and grief of, lost a loved one or whatever, the bargaining, trying to bargain, like, I'll be good, I'll do this and that, daddy, if blah, 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 that kind of thing. And then there's, of course, the testing, the world, testing self, worth, testing. That's a difficult one to kind of wrap your mind around, but it's kind of like when people are trying to make sense of what it's all about, and why do I have to even have loss. And then there's the final stage, which is the most important one, and what music does so much to help with, is acceptance. So you hear music bring in a lot of that. There's music that has the shock and awe kind of stuff in it. Then you've got the denial stuff and the anger stuff. There's a lot of music that has a lot of anger, and that a lot of that
Yeah.
is actually to help you get through your feelings about whatever it is you're angry about, and expressing it in some other non-destructive form, right? That's why people write about all kinds of stuff. And though there have been many people out there trying to control these things, I remember back in the 80s when they were trying to get labels or control people and stop people from expressing themselves musically. And I think they were missing the point. Censorship. I think they were missing the point when it came to why people have this kind of form of expression through music and art and other art forms. But music is one of those that really touches us, as we've talked about before. And if you're new to the channel, that's what I want to do. New to this show, especially. That's what I really want to get to is helping people and even just learn myself even more about how music is such a wonderful form and tool of expression and creativity and something we can share and connect with when it comes to these kinds of things like grief and loss, right? So we can tell some stories if you guys want in the chat. I'll say hi to the chat next. But today's show is about grief and loss and music and how it's a powerful, tool, if you want to call it a tool, or just a great way to, get it out or feel it or, break through it, all these things, right? So you're probably laughing at stuff going on in the chat
Yeah,
already,
yeah.
right?
What
So,
music right now?
so we'll get to that. So let's say hi to
No,
everybody.
I just
Go
choose two
ahead,
words here.
bring it. 2 words. What 2 words? Oh, you're commenting the 2 words? Okay, I haven't gotten down to the bottom of the. I'll go to the bottom of the chat. Mouse prevention. Okay, I have no idea what that means. I'm guessing it has nothing to do with Disney, though. Mouse prevention. So let's say hi to everyone in the chat. Let's start from where we are right at the people commenting right now. My knees hurt. That is what the posts are for. Pots are for, or posts are for? The pots. I think we're talking about some kind of herb. But my knees hurt is in. What's up? Get a BB gun. Okay, we got all kinds of funny comments already happening here. Then we've got Charles 75N from his show with Seth. What's going on, you guys? How was your show? I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was setting mine up. I got to really do this more ahead of time so I can hang in your guys' show a little bit. Yeah. People apologizing to each other. That's nice. Right on. I appreciate the apologies that have been out there recently too. And Janice and I were talking pre-show that I'm going to untime out the people that have been timed out because I don't believe in forever blocking unless someone does something really heinous. And I'm hoping that people will come back that might not be coming back. I don't know. Whatever happens. But just try to behave out there and especially in this show, you guys. And I haven't figured out I haven't had time. So if you're blocked and you're listening, no offense, you guys. If you want to watch, and I'll try to unblock you. All right, I'll figure it out.
As long as
I've been doing this for
as
3
long
years,
as
but I'm still new to this.
the guidelines, the community guidelines.
Yeah, community guidelines are pretty clear out there on YouTube. Just
harassment and stuff like that, hate speech.
Yeah, yeah, none of that. Exactly.
No hate speech.
Yeah, and that stuff. Right. Dan Gorman's also here. Of course, Janice here, the hostess with the mostest. Ryan Hall also here with the pots and the pans. And let's see who else we got here. We got Jeff Davidson. What's up, Jeff Davidson? Phil S. from Norwich. Wow, that's in England, isn't it? Wow, people saying hello and sorry and thank you and whatever here to everybody. Everyone's saying howdy to each other. And then we'll get into some of the personals, some things here. Some people already posted some stuff. Akir is also here. What's up, Akir? I didn't want to wake you up this morning, so I didn't send you a message. If you want to join, bro, just text me on the phone so I see it, and then I can send you a link. If you want to jump in on the show, I would be happy to have you if you're set up and ready to go, like me. 5 minutes late into it. I should talk. And let's see who else we got. We got Blackjack Guitar also here. What's up? Saying hi to Janice and the Chatsters. I like that word, Chatsters. Guitar Man 45. Hi there, Laz and Janice. What's up, Guitar Man? I think I said hi to Dan Gorman. Says, oh, that sucks to Ryan. So Ryan's probably got something going on. He's our meat potatoes guy. Okay. A lot of info here. I've only just crossed over channels. Turns out I was 5 minutes behind in the chat. I was out. Oh, yeah, that happens. Yeah. I feel the grief and loss of missing on a lot of the channels and shows that are out there because I can't watch it all. I wish I could. That's why I'm counting on AI. I'm going to create AI Laz. And AI Laz is going to experience it all for me and then download it into my brain somehow in the future. That'd be awesome, right?
There's
It's
also
like on the Matrix.
Niece, there is also a block list in your YouTube studio too.
What's
in your
that?
Settings.
Who?
In your YouTube settings, there's also a block list.
Oh, okay, that's probably where the blocking has happened, and I'll figure that out, you guys. I don't want to put too much time into that right now. I hope you guys understand. Whoever, if you're watching and you're not able to chat because you're blocked, I'm gonna unblock you. Okay, I'm sorry if you got your feathers in a ruffle, but at the same time, behave, as they say, and then we'll let you back in. And I think you guys are. I think if you, I think you understand. Right? I hope you understand. If not, then, so be it.
Should I try to get less light on me?
No, I like the halo effect, Janice. I like your angelic, angelic
the
Janice.
face on Mars.
We watched the movie Martian last night again because we're going to be going there to that place where they filmed a lot of the outdoor scenes there.
Where?
To Jordan, to Wadi Rum in Jordan. Paul McNary, what's up? Yeah, that's one of the places we're going to visit on our trip in October. We're also going to Petra, October 7th through the 26th.
I'm going to be going on my birthday.
When's your birthday?
17.
I'm saving that on my phone. September 17.
October.
October 17, Janice's birthday. Janice's birthday.
What day is that anyway?
That's a Tuesday. It's a Johnny Bean, Janice's birthday extravaganza Tuesday.
Oh yeah, it's
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be starting our tour in Egypt at that point, I think. Yeah. That's going to be awesome. Oops, push the thing. So I also wanted to give a shout out before we continue on the subject here to Henning. Glenn is wrong. That you guys know who that is, right? Glenn Fricker.
Yes.
He's not usually, but he's but sometimes when he is, Henning likes to make a mug about it. And maybe that's where that is actually where the idea came from. Because, Henning's show, his Gear Street event that's going on right now. They're in day 3 or 4 or 5, I don't know. Probably day, because it's Saturday, it's probably officially day 2 or 3 or something like that. Anyway, we're talking a lot about CGS Mike, Lance, or Laszlo. If he was Hungarian, he would be called Laszlo, just like me, because Lance in Hungarian is Laszlo. So Lance, my buddy, passed away, and a lot of us are still dealing with that grief and that loss. And so they're talking about it. They're celebrating him as well there, but they spoke quite a bit about him. They had Mike Day, and they were making a joke about how, is it about microphones or is it about Mike? And I think Mike, of all people, would have totally enjoyed that like list of videos or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, hey, what's up, Sean Hockey? What's going on? Great to see you too, man. So useless and depression. Oh man, hi, useless and depression. Well, you came to the right show, but just realize I should probably say that at the top of every show, I'm not a licensed therapist. I don't even have a degree in psychology. I just have a very strong interest in perhaps getting a degree and working in that field, even in my late age. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. It's one of those like crazy dreams, like the studio room and all that stuff. It's one of these things that you want to make happen because it's like calling to you. It's in you. It wants to come out of you, right? Lynette here. Welcome, Lynette. Wasteland on a biblical scale. The astronaut tech will be handy if the men have their way. Not sure what that means exactly, but I'm going to assume that it has something to do with Mars. and I hope, just like here on Earth, it's not just all people with money that destroy and take advantage of and use these wonderful places like Mars and whatever, right? Yeah, there was a live. Oh, there was a CGS live stream too. I did see. I'm setting up the show. I missed it. Oh, yeah, right on. Thanks, Blackjack, for reminding me that. I probably got the notification too, but in either case, back to the subject of blocking and stuff like that. That was just a punitive measure by my moderators to maybe get people to understand that you got to be nice in the chat or you don't get to participate in the chat. And that's kind of how that works. And we're going to let you back in after the show. I'm going to figure that out. And then and we'll go from there, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting comment here about depression. Who can live with depression? Sometimes I feel why I'm alive. If you're trying to say that depression makes you feel alive, I'm not sure if that's what you mean. Clarify that. Like I said, I'm not a certified or in any form a therapist, but people have told me I should get into that field because I'm easy to talk to about these things and have a lot of good suggestions. And a lot of where I get those ideas and suggestions are from books like this stuff. Right? Fascinating read and perspective on life. It has interesting ways of thinking and going into stuff. He wrote the second book. I've got this thing dog-eared to death. I actually have a second copy of that's even worse. It's like written all over and whatnot. Yeah.
Huh.
And this is not all about self-help per se. It's about how to live, man. It's about life and what's it all about and what are we here for? And a lot of people, they just grow up learning to do what they're supposed to do in life, what their parents teach them to do and all that stuff, right? And then they start to grow up and question why and what am I here for and what's the purpose of it all. And then when you have something like loss happen, someone dies in the family, then someone close to you or something dies, or gets injured or some form of loss happens, and what do you do? How do you make sense of it? And music, I think, is one of the best ways of trying to make sense of it all. And so I did want to share a video or two for you, with you guys, if you don't mind. And I hope you guys, get something out of these videos. I'll bring this one up first because this is very touching. It's I'll play it's I don't know if I should play the whole thing. It's 14 minutes long. It might be a bit long. What do you guys think? Do you think that's too long? Should I play the whole thing, or you know what? Maybe I'll get to the point of where it's like not playing music anymore, and he starts talking. So he's playing a cello here, and I'll just bring it in as part of that. And then he talks about how he used music, for grief and loss. Maybe before that, I can look through the chat here. Do you see anything there, Janice, that anyone wanted to talk something specific here? Yeah, useless and depression.
Yeah.
It says, yeah, I feel so down and dull every single day, depressed with my ugly heart ringing, yet I'm dead outside. Well, one thing I will say, useless and I'm just going to call you UAD because I don't want to keep saying useless and depression. I don't think anyone's useless, and I understand depression. I think you should definitely seek out help. definitely seek out whatever kind of help you can get, because everyone that I've talked to that have had problems with depression and you know and these kinds of feelings, um, you have to get people to help you, and there are a lot of people out there willing to help and happy to help. That's what they want to do. Like why I even started this show and started this channel really. A lot of people out there are very grateful and happy to be here and don't have some of the chemical imbalances and other issues, whatever might have happened to you in your life that has you in that place right now. Understand that there is a way out. It's not always necessarily easy, and it's going to take some work and some belief, and um, it's tough to go into all this. This is why you really do need to speak to a therapist about this kind of stuff. But you can get help, and you can't do it alone. You really should get help from others, because human beings are social animals. We are, and we function best and are happiest when we are social, and socializing and connecting is the best way that you're going to find some relief. And some of it will possibly need to be chemical, so you might need to take some medication to help you through some of it. And don't reject that outright, just because you're afraid of being, like what Akir's here is saying. Don't be rejecting that because you're afraid to be addicted to it or anything like that. um it Think of it more as something that can, as a temporary, you know lift or step towards, that kind of thing. So, and you're young, 26 years old, man. You're young, so you've got a long life ahead of you. I'm 57, so I got 31 years on you. And yeah, and you'll find a way. You'll find a way, but you can't do it alone. And there are people out there willing to help.
I feel uncomfortable around people too.
Yeah, yeah, like Sean. Thank you, Sean. You're here. Yeah, that means something. You're already reaching out, man. That's one step forward. Yeah, yeah. See, and you could tell, man, so many people suffer from depression and anxiety and feelings of uselessness. I go through it. Everyone goes through it. And then we shake it off and we pick up it. It's not always that easy. Sometimes we make mistakes, and there's a lot of shaming and blaming out there in the world, too, that we don't, that's not always constructive. But sometimes those are people trying to deal with their own struggle, and so they are expressing themselves through anger and denial of their, all that kind of stuff, right? But let me look. I think there was something that Ryan, didn't you say something up earlier? um Stuart Smiley, yeah, right. I love you, Ryan. Yeah, I love that stuff. Yeah. I'm What did he used to look in the mirror and say? I'm beautiful, I'm this, I'm the affirmations. And that's a good thing too, if you don't get that from someone else. But just repeating that stuff to yourself in the mirror might not be as helpful as actually working with people and having some actionable steps, taking action towards developing those strengths, when it comes to confidence and feelings of that sort, when you can break through. What's the opposite of depression? What's the opposite of depressed, and what's the opposite, and how do you achieve those things? Well, you've got to take actions toward that. It doesn't just come to you out of nowhere, right? People aren't just happy out of nowhere. A baby's not happy just because it's a baby. Baby's gonna cry. It's gonna be upset. What makes it feel satiated or happy or good? Being fed, being held, there's got to be action behind happiness. And that's what music is so great at that, I believe. So why don't I share this with you guys? What do you think? Share this. Oops, that's not the button I wanted to hit. I want to hit present button. There we go. I'm going to share a screen. I'm going to get this over here, and then let me adjust that so that it's like that. And I think that looks good, right? So here's a gentleman at a TED Talks, TED Talks, Technology and Education. That's what that abbreviation is for, if you didn't know. And he's going to talk about how music shaped his recovery or understanding or connection, whatever you want to call it, right? How do I hide that comment? There we go. Yeah, rat ock ears, it's not easy when your brain's working against you. And that's a big part of the chemical stuff. And then taking the actions that then start to help you create those chemicals in your brain on your own without the drugs. That's another big step toward it. So let's hear what this guy has to say. This guy's name's Steven, and I think he's Steven Sharp Nelson, and he's a cellist and obviously a musical person. And he talks about how music helped him. Here we go. Watching this. I hope the volume's good.
Thank you very much.
Let me know if it's too loud.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, as Victor Borge used to say, I'd like to thank my parents for making this performance possible, and my children for making it necessary. So many people in our lives make our life purpose possible and necessary. I'd like to take you on a musical journey that connects you with one of those people. Someone you love dearly. Someone you wanted to have a little more time to love. Someone you wish was still with you. This is my mom. Isn't she beautiful? And then there's this guy. Yeah, I'm afraid that's me. Now don't let that childlike grin and super stylish Beatles haircut fool you. I was trouble. But as you can see, I was happy when I was with my mom. She's one of the greatest lyrical sopranos that's ever lived, ineffably gifted with the voice of an angel. She could have had center stage anywhere in the world, but she gave that up to be my mom. She gave me this stage with you today. She's been by my side when I've been particularly nervous for a big performance touring the world with the piano guys, or when I've been off the stage and struggling and at the mercy of anxiety and depression. Or when I felt like I'm under the thumb of this perniciously pervasive demon known as inadequacy that so many of us are fighting. She's gently nudged me forward right at the moment when I felt like giving up. So I'm a musician today, not only because of what she gave up for me, but also because of what she continues to give me. And that support is profound and especially powerful. Why? Because it comes from a place about which we know very little. Not long after that first picture I showed you was taken, my mother fell to the floor of our home suddenly in this really scary seizure. Such an intense moment. My dad rushed her to the ER. Brain tumor. Big one. Doctors didn't know how long we'd have with her. 1, 2, maybe 3 years before we'd lose her. But due to her strength and a series of indescribable miracles, she defied that prognosis and fought that brain tumor for 18 years. Thank you. I'll let her know. Thank you. She fought that brain tumor for 18 years, but think about it. Some of those years were really rough, as you can imagine. But we learned to be grateful for every day. Now, when her final curtain call came, I couldn't applaud because I wasn't ready for it to end. So after she passed away, I spent some time being angry, bitter, resentful, confused at these years that were stolen from me, at the chance I never had to know the soprano in this beautiful woman, to hear her sing in full voice without pain, to perform with her. Oh, I would have loved that. Just me playing the cello right next to her, just looking up at her beautiful face singing. Oh, I would have loved that chance. I never got that chance. So I struggled with this. I really did. But then I discovered something that has compelled me to be on the stage talking with you today. Isn't it true that our life's most sublime melodies tend to be written during the dark symphonies of our struggle? And in this dark symphony, I found a healing fermata. The very thing that had wounded me was the same thing that healed me. The power of music. You see, since then, I've spent some very special time with my mom. Through music, I've discovered that the people we've lost aren't lost at all. And the holes their absence leaves inside us are not meant to be filled by someone or something else. Instead, they are intentional, mindful places meant for us to go, to take refuge, to reconnect and to reunite with our loved ones, to find them there, still interested, still invested, and somehow still involved in the details of our lives. That is where I found my mom. Now, I can't prove this to you with science. There's no chance. And spirituality helped me take the first step. But ultimately, you just have to go there yourself in your own way. And music, the power of music can act as a guide for you on this incredible, important journey. If you're willing, I'd like to go there together right now. And I want to show this to you because I want you, if you need to use this later on, when you're on your own in a quiet place and you've got a song that's personal to you, I want to show you how this can work. I'd like you to close your eyes, if you would, please. Choose a loved one you want to connect with. It could be someone you've already been thinking about as I've been talking. I want you to picture a favorite place, a relaxing place. It could be a place that you both adored together. Now picture your loved one sitting or standing across from you. Make this as detailed as you can, it's important. What are they wearing? What is their posture, their expression? Is it a smile? Is it a look of concern? Or is hope written in their eyes? I want you to hold this image in your mind. And you could do so continually with your eyes closed, or you can open them. It's up to you. But I want you to live in this place while I play for you one more piece of music. It's a piece I've never performed in public. Why? Because I feared that I wouldn't do it justice. It's my mom's favorite. And as I play, I want you to have a conversation with this beautiful person across from you. I want you to hold their hand, share a long hug, ask for forgiveness, or finally give of it freely if you need to. Ask for help with something you're struggling with. At the very least, express gratitude for how they've made you possible and necessary. Express love. My mother is a soprano with the voice of an angel. And that voice for me is still sweet and rings with a resounding relevance. And as I play, I hope you can hear the voice of your own angel and let music find someone you've lost.
This is beautiful. Now, tell me, you guys in the chat, if you want to listen to this, because we can just go back to talking about this subject. But it's pretty nice to listen to this.
Well, let's give this a minute or two.
Yeah, right? Oops. I keep messing it up here.
it's a cutaway.
All right.
Well, that was cool.
Right. So yeah, and useless and depression. We're here for you, bro. I mean, I'm really, really happy that you're here expressing yourself and your feelings to us because that's so important, communicating your feelings. And that's step one, because step one of any kind of treatment or whatever you want to, getting over anything, going through, you have to first be aware of it. So at least you're aware of your depression, you're aware of what's going on. You've already talked a little bit about what's got you down, part of it being that you're living in the city where you don't want to be, things like that, right? So it's tough sometimes. Change is one of the most difficult things to deal with, and accepting the situation that life has dealt you in a way is probably the worst, most difficult part, is accepting the fate that you have. But there's a purpose. Everyone has a purpose in life, and you'll find yours. And maybe your purpose is to do something special and something in the city. Or if it's not working, yeah, or if it's not working for you,
brings you joy.
yes,
Something like even like something like
right,
I'm looking at that hammer. I'm wondering, that hammer is something that I possess, that's mine, and there's nothing that you could take away from me with that hammer. That's mine, and I cherish it. Something to cherish. I mean, stupid hammer, but it's there and it's mine, and it's got it's in my possession, and I'm happy that I have these certain things, and whatever makes you happy a little bit.
I'm getting some notes here. Something about restart the stream. Something about restart the stream for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it seems to be working for me here on my phone. Stream unavailable. Oh, I see. Something's happening there with the stream. That's interesting. So how do I do that? I don't want to end. Okay, now it's back. That was weird, right?
And what did you do to make it go back? Nothing?
Nothing. So maybe there was just some interference from the world. No. So there might have been some issue with StreamYard, right? That happens. Hey, Sean Barnes, thanks for joining, man. Yes, I'm back now. Thank you. But I wanted to finish what I was saying to Useless and Depression. Thank you. This is actually a weekly show on Sunday mornings here in California, where I live, at 10 a.m. my time. And we've had many people from all over the world, like India. We have our friend Rick Tesh, that I don't think he ever got his package that I sent him, but we tried.
Oh,
the effort went in. Speaking of packages. This is from my other show, you guys. I also do, as you can see, I have a lot of musical gear. It's not a green screen. I can go pick up a guitar from there if you want me to prove that. But yeah, strict guidelines, right? Anyway,
maybe we got a copyright strike there, the copyright claim with that music. Maybe that's what happened.
Oh, you're right. That's what it was. Probably was, because I was using that TED Talks video. That's probably why. Not just the music, because the music is probably copyrightable. It's so old, but maybe somebody owns that music now. Did they pay whoever? But yeah, it timed it out. So is the video, is YouTube, it's still on, at least that I see. It's still going. So hopefully we're okay. Help me, Johnny Bean. Johnny Bean's dope. You know what I love about Johnny Bean? He's always so helpful to everyone, no matter how many times he's been crossed and burned and stabbed in the back by people. He's always helping people all the time. Anybody new that asks for help, if he can help, he helps. No matter what. That's really great. And I'm sorry to hear that, useless and I find that hard to believe. So, uh, yeah, you need to find different kinds of music. Maybe what I would suggest is with music. What's great about music is it can affect your emotions in ways that sometimes drugs can't even work that fast or that good. Um, but yeah, but who am I to say? I can't say. When it comes to how you're dealing with what you're going through. Clearly, I'm not sure what kind of services they have in India. I did post into the chat. Well, I could post it into this right here. But there is a place that you can get help, at least in the U.S. And there in California for sure too. There's BetterHelp.com. So I'll put that over here in California. It's BetterHelp.com. Okay. And then there's also a hotline, kind of like 411 or 911 or whatever. It's 988. You can call that if you have a phone. You can call that. I don't know if that works out of the United States, outside. Um, there are other ways to get help too. There's also, it's connected to that 988 lifeline.org. So if you are even outside of the country, if your country doesn't support or have mental health support systems that are free or available to you, I would highly suggest just try using the power of the internet. The power of this kind of thing. Um, Use it to your advantage. Try to get help from wherever you can. That is one thing that I learned in up to now, what classes I've taken and what I've studied about psychology, and it's very true. You've heard it said in many different ways. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. What that means is that you can't make someone help themselves. They have to decide, and you can try to lead them there. Life in many ways is a journey. We've been
Fuck.
so many times. What?
I
What?
lost my picture in picture. I gotta go back. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right, Janice. Janice is looking at the chat. If you're wondering what she's doing on her phone, she's trying to participate with you all. But life is a journey, and it can be a harrowing journey for some. Some people are dropped off in the middle of the desert, and there's nowhere to go, and whatnot, right? And how do you survive the desert? That's what I loved about that Martian movie too. If you haven't seen the movie The Martian, what is so wonderful about that is how this guy does not give up, and he uses all his faculties, including humor. There's music in it too, and then like the whole time he's making fun about the commander of the I guess the what do they call that, the Ares or what Artemis or whatever the mission was in the movie. He jokes about the commander who has nothing but disco music saved on the system there for music. No one else had music but her, and he could only access her music, which is like disco music. And the last song they play at the end of the movie is I forget her name. I think it's Gloria something or Gail something. The "I Will Survive" song. You know that one, Janice?
Gloria Gaynor.
Yeah, Gloria Gaynor. That's right. "I Will Survive." That's such a great song. It's such a like a female, like
I'm surviving.
your interruption into my life or whatever. But here's the way I look at it. Okay, you guys, I mean, I've had good and bad relationships, and I'm up and down in relationships with people all the time. We see that going on in the chats lately with my other show and some of the other shows that we all partake in. And this is the up and down in life. We have to learn how to get along with each other. We have to try to accept each other, and we have to try to understand each other. And that's a big part of it. And the people that you meet in life and the relationships you have, the circumstances like you're in right now, useless and depression. Give me your real name. Give me another name, please. Because I don't want to keep saying that because I don't believe that you're useless, but I understand and believe that you are depressed if you have depression. Um, the point is that, and like what you're saying, that your culture is different. All cultures have this. Every culture has this. Every culture has shaming. Every culture has bullying. Every culture has people believing that they're a loser or mocking you. You have to rise above that, and I'm saying you have to. You have to. You have to rise above that. You have to believe, and this is the hard part. You have to believe that they might be wrong, and you have to believe that you will rise above it, and you do have a purpose, and it's not to show them, it's not to show God or anything else per se, unless you want to use that as your guiding light, and I think that can be very useful for some. You have to believe that you are here for a reason. I believe that everything that happens for a reason. We can either say that's rationalizing the things that happen, sure. But I do believe that we can use these things to either make us stronger and better ourselves through that experience, or we let it get us down. And I'm not saying that you're letting it get you down, because like I said before too, people often have chemical imbalances, and it can be due to even emotional struggle can change your chemistry. It may not be that you were born that way or you have eaten something that makes you that way or whatever. It can be that even the feelings that you have kind of cycle, and that cycle of that feeling builds up more tension, anxiety, depression, which then keeps those chemicals going. And that's why it's so important to talk to someone, because someone else who's been there where you have. And believe me, one thing that is very, very true, lots of people have been where you are right now and found a way to break through. And, that song, I can see clearly now the rain is gone, right? I can see no obstacles in my way, right?
Right.
Be a bright, bright, sunshiny day, I mean, Here Comes the Sun by George Harrison, of the Beatles. One of my favorite songs as a child. I'll never forget hearing that song on the radio while I was sitting in the car next to my grandmother. We're driving in her station wagon somewhere doing something. And yeah, UFOs, Doctor. And when that song, Bright, Bright, Sunshiny Day, came on, I mean, music can put you in that kind of feeling, in that frame of mind, but it's not going to make you. You do have to you do have to take steps toward it. So I highly suggest to you to try to take some steps toward, um, you know, changing where you are in life right now, and that starts with your own mind, and that starts with your own way of thinking, and yeah. And I understand what you're saying, that you have no rights there until you get married. And I understand there's cultural, I get that. Wow. Yeah, that's so hard, right? Um, yeah, yeah. I wish I was born on Mars. Yeah. Well, in some ways, the way you're describing your situation, you're kind of in a desert, in a sense, emotionally and whatnot, right? So talk to someone, find someone that you can talk to, and try. There's got to be someone out there that's willing to listen to you. And if it's not in your own country, like I said, reach out, through the power of the internet, like you are here today. So I'm glad you're here, because hopefully we'll be able to, I'm not saying we're going to be able to help you, but hopefully we'll be a step towards that, right? Because part of what I was talking about, life is a journey thing, is that it's really hard to get through a perilous journey without a guide. And many times the guides that we have in life are usually our family or community, and sometimes they know the right path to get to where they think you should be going, or where you should find a way to find happiness if they're happy. Maybe talk to them, say, hey, why are you happy? What makes you happy? Why should I listen to you or believe you? Have a conversation with them if you can. But I know it can be hard. Not all cultures allow, and like you're saying, you don't have a right, and that can be very, very tough. That can be very tough. Yeah, Life on Mars by Bowie, right? Yeah. And David Bowie is another one of those guys that did so much for music and expressing emotion and feelings of all kinds through music. He was a champion in so many ways of creative expression, right? I love that about Bowie. Yeah. So, but let's get back to this here with the music side of things. So, with music, I think one of the things that I've always found, like I've written songs and things. You've heard some of them probably. If you want to go check those out in my playlist, there's a song that I wrote to my daughter Hannah that's like a lullaby called "Forever," or is it Forever? Anyway, it's Forever, I think. Yeah, but it's basically my feelings about how I'll always have her and she'll always have me, forever. Because one of the things that I think is timeless is our connections to each other. Believe it or not, I believe that. I believe that the way the universe is and what we're connected to, um, you know, we I don't think we truly ever die, really. I think there's a cycle of maybe our personal individual consciousness in this body might end, but I don't think that ends completely ever. So you can leave something behind, like some of these people have left music behind, and that's like what that gentleman was talking about. Stephen was talking about through music. So let me play one more thing for you guys because we're almost at the end of the show. I usually try to keep this to an hour, but I did start a little bit late, right?
Right.
And there was one more, and I might get blocked for this one too. So I don't know. But I think that's what happens when you try to play somebody else's stuff, right? I think TED Talks blocked that, which I think is weird because it's I'm going to share all the links to these things on my channel as well, you guys. So go check that out after the show. I'll try to get to it as quickly as I can at the end of the show. So let me find this next one here real quick here. And this is someone who's talking about music therapy specifically. And yeah, music therapy for grief and loss, Utah Music Therapy. All right, here we go. So this one's only about 8 minutes long. Let's see, where's it gone? There we go. All right, let me get that into the right frame there. I have to set it up so that the size is correct for the StreamYard thing. StreamYard. Share screen. There we go. I'll get back to that and go like this. All right, so I thought this was really good too. And then here we go.
Perhaps love is like a resting place, a shelter from the storm. It exists to give you comfort. It is there to keep you warm. And in those times of trouble, when you are most alone, the memory of love will bring you home. So my name is Heather Fellows. I am a state certified music therapist, a board certified music therapist. I've been doing this for about 17 years now. Much of my practice has been in psych, working with people with mental illness, and helping them with coping strategies, helping them learn to deal with whatever it is that they are, being faced with at the moment, and also helping them with processing through grief and loss. So music can be very helpful when it comes to helping people in bereavement or dealing with grief and loss. I think one of the most powerful things that music helps with is to help people to connect emotionally to what it is that's going on with them. There's something about music that just, you start playing the song and boom, it's just that emotion is just right there. For example, if I came to a group or, was in front of someone who was dealing with grief, and we were talking about maybe what it was that they were facing, and I started to play something like, and I started singing, I will remember.
So some of these might get us blocked real quick, right?
Will you
Oh my goodness.
remember me?
I'm gonna turn it down for a second. You know what?
Even just
I'm gonna
those
take my
few
chances. If I get blocked, I get blocked.
of the music starting and
The song
playing
at the
that
end of
space.
this, I'm definitely gonna have
That's all
to
it takes sometimes.
turn down
for
or whatever
people to just
because
connect right there with the emotion. It just comes. And so one of the really important parts of grieving is our ability to do that, our ability to connect with emotion. And that's where music really helps us out. Sometimes we get really guarded when it comes to dealing with grief. Nobody wants to feel pain. And so one of the things, the ways that music is powerful in this whole thing is that it's going to help you just to get past that, to move through that avoidance and move more into an acceptance of kind of the loss itself. When somebody's loved one dies, some of the steps to recovery or some of the things that they really need to do to kind of get through that. Number one is acceptance, always. Being able to say, my loved one died, being able to kind of wrap your head around that. What does that even mean to me now? So that acceptance piece is really, really important. The next step is more about feeling. It's more about allowing yourself that space for emotion, being able to feel even the stuff that is really hard to feel, and feeling like you can do that in a safe place where you're supported. Then, you take a look at what it's like to live, to adjust to life without your loved one. Being able to kind of create this identity of who am I now that maybe I was wife, maybe I was parent, maybe I was child. And who am I now that person is not here in my life anymore? And what does that mean for me as far as my future? And that's where people can sometimes get pretty hopeless because their person is gone. And so they don't have that identity anymore. So helping somebody to kind of come to the acceptance and then also think about, who am I and what do I want my life to look like at this point? And then you kind of get to a moving forward point. What are some goals that I want to set for myself? Helping them to come to a place of hope for their future rather than despair. So as a board certified music therapist, I'm trained to not only play the song, perform the song, and kind of create that space, but I also am looking at what it is that the person really needs. Kind of assessing that need and then being able to address that. My goal is to help them to move through the process, not necessarily to just play for them or for them to feel calm because I'm playing the song. The real thing that we're trying to get to is the nitty-gritty part of dealing with the loss, and that's something that as a music therapist I'm skilled and trained to do. Even as your hands are shaking.
This one's gonna get us blocked.
And your faith is
but the words are
broken.
so good.
Even as the eyes are closing, do it with a heart wide open and say what you need to say. 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 Say what what you need to say. This song would be a great opener for helping someone to actually express the words that they need to say. Maybe there are things that they weren't able to say to their loved one before they passed. Maybe there, are words that they still need to say about how they feel about it. But just bringing the music, creating the space, analyzing those lyrics, helping them think about what it is that the song is saying and how that relates to them and where they're at, could just open that door for them where they may not have felt like there was a space for them to do that before. So one of the really great things that we can use music to do is to help people to remember their loved one. This is really important in the process, and being able to move on. We're always going to have those things that trigger us emotionally, that are going to bring back a little bit of that emotional pain for us and help make us miss the person that we lost. But being able to use music to do something like maybe create a legacy project where we're putting together music and video to help them, as a tangible thing that they can go to remember. Another idea is songwriting. Songwriting can be huge for helping people to express the way that they feel, to say the things that they need to say, and to have that also, again, another tangible memory, something to hold on to make sure that they're honoring their loved one as they're moving forward. In those times of trouble, when you are most alone, the memory of love will bring you home.
Beautiful, right? All right, we got to end that. All right, so we're a little bit over time, but I did start late, so that's okay. So we're going to be ending this show very soon. I probably have another couple things that I could probably have posted, and I'll try to post some links into the description post show, right? But I want to give you guys a little idea of where I get my perspective on a lot of this stuff. So I was raised Catholic, but I'm not a practicing Catholic in any way, shape, or form today because I don't believe in many ways that the dogma of the religion truly serves people the best. I think that they could possibly use some change, maybe. And I actually reconfirmed in the church at age 30, hoping to be one of these rebel Catholics that's going to change the landscape of Catholicism, pushing for women priesthood and all this other. But I realize it's a Sisyphus type of a game, and I'm not gonna waste my energy on something that's not gonna happen. So I decided to step away from that and then start doing a lot more study. And when I went back to school to study in '08, when the crash happened, I was working at a .com, and I realized that that's not what I want to do either. And I stepped away from that, and I decided to go back to school. And I thought I'd dip my toes into psychology because so many friends said that, hey, you're really helping me here with just talking to you and stuff. And so my first class, my professor, Mary Stegner, said, Laz, you need to become a full-time student and do this because we need people like you. Don't worry about how old you are, all this stuff. Your age and your experiences in life bring much to the field, and you could do a lot of good. And I did. As a student, I actually did a lot of good at the college, the community college I went to. And there are many times in my life where I felt helpless or hopeless or things aren't going my way. You gotta realize that even with all the pressures and all the attitudes, all the judgments, all the whatever it is going on around you, you don't have to let that make you who you are. You can just fight it in a sense, if you want to call it fighting, or you can just face it in a sense and say, okay, that's your perspective. You don't have to say that, even you can just think it. That's their perspective. They could be wrong. And I might have something to offer this world that's different than their perspective. and change things for the better, you know. So I really truly believe that is our purpose here in many ways as conscious beings. Our purpose here is not just to live, eat, drink, be merry, and die, and with the guy with the most toys wins. That's another reason why I want to get rid of a lot of the stuff here, you guys. The purging is kind of like a coming to terms with that. I don't need all this stuff, and why do I have it? And a lot of it was to make it fun and be part of the chats and do some gear related kind of thing that would be fun. But I don't have to do that. You know, I can do something else, something different, and I can change things up. And like Janice is saying, life can be dull sometimes. Yes, it is, and that's okay. There's sometimes that's good too. Sometimes you need a little dull time too. Contemplation.
Sometimes you really want to be dull.
That's where, you know, when I was taking one. Okay, so another how I got some of my perspective on stuff. So when I went back to school, I decided, okay, if I'm going to be a full-time student and I'm going to study psychology and try to help people, I felt that one of the most important things that I need to learn to be able to help people is to first off understand the motivations in their lives. If you don't understand what person's culture is, like we have useless and depression here telling us about, culture affects your life, the society you live in, you know, the parental and otherwise, you know, ways that you're being raised, the things you're taught, how to think and what to believe, and all these things, religion, philosophy. Okay, so my first next semester that I took outside of the Psych 200 or whatever 102 class I took after the 100 class, my next classes on top of that were world's religions, philosophy, right? Because if you and then of course history, and I had a pretty good in-depth understanding of a lot of history too, but you know, there's also history is also very good because about cultures and different lands and peoples, right? World history, because you have to have an understanding of why people are where they're at right now. So one thing that might help useless in depression is try to understand where your family and your community and your city and your culture, try to understand why is it separate from you, why is it that entity or that thing that it is, why is it where it is at, what brought it to that point. Oops, I keep pushing my laptop here with my thing on it, camera on it. Why is it there? Try to understand it. When you understand it a little better, you might have a better understanding of why they have all the rules and all the blah, blah, blah. You know, their rules might not be right, but they might believe that that's what's functional for the billions of people living there, you know? Sometimes things don't make sense from the inside, you know, what they call in economics, the micro economics, like the micro cultural or social stuff. But on the macro, maybe it makes sense on the bigger, grander scheme. And there might be a reason. There's a lot of tradition. Tradition has a lot of good things in it. Tradition teaches us connectivity to each other and helps us be connected to each other so that we can thrive as a society. So you as an individual can thrive within that culture. Some of it is accepting that or not. If you decide to not accept that and you want to break free of it, understand, you know, that that's in itself, there's going to be difficulty related to that, because whenever you try to change things, people are going to revolt against you. You know, we thought the earth was flat for a long time, and there are people that had proof but didn't want to come out with it because they knew that they would be killed. You know, they would be ostracized by society, shamed, told they're stupid, you know, until Einstein was proven right. He was thought as some, you know, daydreaming, you know, bad grades, not very smart guy. You know, and then he proved everyone wrong by coming out with his theories of many things that have changed the world because of his daydreaming and his perspective on life. So you could be one of those people too. You could be one of those people that has a different perspective on the culture that you're living in, and might be able to, by thinking about it and working out solutions to problems that culture's rules might be trying to solve, but maybe not as well as you might have a better idea, right? So think about it that way. So what I tried to learn a lot about a lot of different cultures, a lot about philosophy, a lot about religions, all world religions, to get an understanding of what motivates people, because you can't help someone if you don't understand what else can manipulate and or motivate them or influence them, because all these other aspects of our lives are going to influence us. And you can go into a therapy session and yeah, that's a great idea, and then you go home and nobody loves you and everybody hates you, and everything you're saying that your therapist told you to think and do, they say is wrong and that's ridiculous and whatever, right? Hey Johnny Bean. um so so yeah, see, and you're being ignored. That's okay. You'll break through your own way. You have to face off this thing, and you will do it. Um, I have faith that you will, because you're here talking about it. That's step one, man. You just woke up, Johnny Bean. You were up late last night, weren't you, man? That's my buddy Johnny Bean. If you guys don't know Johnny Bean, he pushed me to start this channel.
Okay, now that he's here.
Yes, now that he's here.
Should I do the unboxing?
Oh yeah, please do. Okay, well, so Janice is going to do an unboxing because I couldn't get around to sending the package to her, and handed it off to Johnny, and he sent it. He sent it. But here we go. Janice is, hold on. Okay, I'm going to use the box.
Oh, come on. Johnny, 5 minutes.
Hold on, Johnny. Stay for a minute. We're ending the show right now. That's what I say 10 times in a row. Johnny's your nickname too. Okay, cool. Well, if you wanna take part in some funny stuff, watch Johnny Bean TV show. There you go. Awesome. There you go. That's the one that you got from Johnny Bean, the Edward Van Halen.
And this is the one that I got from Laz.
Yeah, that's the one that I made of Janice. That's Janice. Here, put that up next to your face. Isn't that like Janice? That looks exactly like Janice. I love it.
It does. I used to have dark glasses like that too.
You should put those on. I want to see that. next show.
No, next pair is going to be like that now.
All right. Well, I hope. Yeah, go to sleep now, Johnny. Right? We can call you Johnny. Useless and depression. We want to call you Johnny from now on too, if that's okay. And yeah, and good night to everyone, and see you again. I look forward to seeing you, and good night in India, and I look forward to seeing you again here. Johnny is in the chat on my side, but some glitches in the chat lately seems to be losing people on chats. Yeah, I don't know. There's some stuff happening. Anyway, so yeah, we will. That's so cool, Janice. I'm so happy for you finally. And I got to get your package out of your swag that I promised you, so don't worry. The problem is it's been so long I forgot even what I promised people. So I'm gonna have to go back to those shows and see what the winning items were when I was doing the giveaway. And oh my God, I create my own problems for myself, but I like doing the giveaways. Anyway, but it's not just for me to like and enjoy, it's for you guys to actually receive the stuff too, right? So I gotta pull it together.
And
so that's okay, one more. Is that a note that he sent or a note that I sent? I think that's a note that he sent. I don't see it. Hold on.
I put the necessary L in there.
I can't see it.
Yes, there's only one L, but
it's too bright. Put it closer to the camera. Put it closer to the camera.
It's just L-A-L-A, and it's L-A-L-L-A.
Oh, La Land, right?
Yeah, Lalla.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, it's two L's. Why even say anything, Laz, right? Well, we did play a song by some famous rock star about say what you need to say, Johnny. Say what you need to say. Anyway, I'm not going to sing. La, 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 la. Hey, what's up, Seth? What's up, Seth? Dude, we got to hook up, man. This coming Thursday, as a matter of fact, on my Gear and Demo show day, Octopus Ears is going to come over and help me out with the studio stuff. And as a matter of fact, we're going to go finally to Luke's, if they're open, and get some lobster and just hang out at the guitar shop there, that Real Guitars shop, because it's right nearby. So Seth, if you want to join us for a little, hang out in the city on Thursday, hit me up, dude. I think I got your info because you sent it to me because you're due a package too, and then I can just hand it off to you. Or no, didn't you already receive yours? Did you get your asteroid picks from Black Mountain Guitar picks and stuff? Hey, Holly Lewis, Sean Hockey, what's up? I hope so. So anyway, I think that's the show, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I'm glad we had Johnny from India in the show because that's exactly what I want the show to be about. I think that we can't say that we're helping anyone. I'm not going to pretend like I'm some therapist or something, but I'm going to try to put out as much information on this show as I can that might help people get to a better place. Yeah, right on, Holly. Thank you. And I got to watch your shows too. I know you're taking off with your show now too, right? Never eat lobster? Oh man, I love lobster. Just because it's a ground, eating thing. I don't think there's, I love it. I'm going to eat it. So if you want to join us, Seth, for a day of lobster and guitars and stuff at in the city, I know it's a little bit of a drive for you, but it might be fun. Might be worth it. Free lobster lunch. How about that? Join us for that. You can join in on that. We can finally hang out, chat and stuff, right? But until next time, you guys. Oh, I should bring myself back in here. Just have Janice on there.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
I was feeling self-conscious.
The cockroach of the sea, right? Blackjack guitar. That doesn't mean it's not yummy. We all got to eat something. I mean, a cow eats grass. What's that?
Holly.
So the other book that I've been reading lately too, that's also really great, that I think you guys should check out, is Rick Rubin's Can you see that? The Creative Act, A Way of Being. Yes. Absolutely.
I think that I've already got that as a bookmark on my my desktop to check out.
Read it
because you did that another time in another chat. You did talk about that book before, correct?
And yes, it's something that I'm going to continue to talk about, and I'll bring in some of the some of the quotes from there too. But
Art of Being,
here's another one that I think for a friend, Johnny in India. Krishnamurti, think on these things. Now, he never wrote this book, but people that followed his wisdom have put this together. And this is a man of India, and he spoke on these wisdoms or things. And you can see how dog-eared that thing is. And there are so many great things in here quoted. I'm just going to randomly open right to something and see if there's some nugget here. All right, I'll end with this. See if I could find a good thing. I mean, people ask him questions and he just answers them. And I'm going to try to find something here. Let's see. All right, we'll go to this one because this is kind of, I think, a good place to go. An open mind. Page 67. So he says, it is very interesting to find out what learning is. We learn from a book or from a teacher about mathematics, geography, history. We learn where London is or Moscow or New York. We learn how a machine works or how the birds build their nests, care for their young, and so on. But by observation and study, we learn. This is one kind of learning. But is there not also another kind of learning, the learning that comes through experience? When we see a boat on the river and its sails reflected on the quiet waters, is that not an extraordinary experience? And then what happens? The mind stores up an experience of that kind just as it stores up knowledge. And the next evening we go out there to watch the boat, hoping to have the same kind of feeling, an experience of joy, that sense of peace which comes so rarely in our lives. So the mind is sedulously. I've never heard of that word. Sedulously storing up experience.
Sedulously.
Well, it's spelled with a U, so sedulously. I mean, I don't know. Storing up experience, and it is the storing up of experience as memory that makes us think, is it not? What we call thinking is the response of memory. Having watched the boat on the river and felt a sense of joy, we store up the experience as memory and then want to repeat it. So the process of thinking is set going, is it not? So you see, very few of us really know how to think. Most of us merely repeat what we have read in a book or what somebody has told us, or our thinking is the outcome of our own very limited experience. And he goes on. And the reason why I wanted to read that is that on this part down here, I kind of highlight, this is key, I write. If you hold firmly to some set of beliefs or other, you look at everything through that particular prejudice or tradition, you don't have any contact with reality. Have you ever noticed the village women carrying heavy burdens to the town? When you notice it, what happens to you? What do you feel? Or is it that you have seen these women going by so often that you have no feeling at all because you have become used to it and so hardly notice them? And even when you observe something for the first time, what happens? You automatically translate what you see according to your prejudices, don't you? You experience it according to your conditioning as a communist or a socialist or a capitalist or whatever ist. Whereas if you are none of these things and therefore do not look through the screen of any idea or belief, but actually have the direct contact, then you will notice what an extraordinary relationship there is between you and what you observe. If you have no prejudice, no bias, if you are open, then everything around you becomes extraordinarily interesting, tremendously alive. So I want to end on that because a lot of like what we were hearing from Johnny of India is that all these heavy burdens, all these heavy things that we see, all these external forces on us, right? We you can't help it affecting us. It's gonna affect our perception. But then there's that experience side where you can just, it's like a meditation or whatever. You can go out and just try to shut all that clutter down. Shut those voices off somehow. Just ignore the negative voices that are telling you you're useless or you're depressed or whatever. Don't be what other people say you are. Don't be even what your mind is telling you you are. Go out there and connect with nature, with whatever, music, with friends, with something, somebody like us here. We're here for you, man. Go out there and connect and then open up, and then you might see things a different way, So I'm going to end on that, you guys. I hope you appreciated that little reading from there. And another one of my favorites on philosophy, The Way of Shang-Tzu, right? So a lot of Confucianism actually comes out of this. And
so we'll take that as an action item for another show.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Yeah. Holly? Yeah, you need to connect with California weather. I'm enjoying it right now. So where I'm at.
Connecticut's pretty cool too.
Is it cold over there too? Yeah, we're I'm not going to say I'm lucky to live where I am because it takes a lot to be back living where I was born and living here. It's not easy. And it's very expensive living in this area. It's definitely not easy.
Well,
all right.
Here too.
Rock Daddy, what's up, dude?
Connecticut is nuts.
Right? Yeah. Well, East Coast. I mean, all that is overpopulated. But yeah, I love living here for so many reasons. So that's the show, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll put up some links, and then we'll see you next week at the Music is Therapy show. Rock on, Rock Daddy. And see you guys on Thursday, and I'll figure out how to unblock the people that have been blocked, and hopefully everyone can play nice in my shows, and yeah, like I say, how do I say it, Janice? Do you remember what I say? The secret to tone.
Is in your fingers,
No, but that is one.
in your mind,
Yeah. Secret to tone. Tone is something that we joke about or talk about in
and
music.
paint.
Secret to
It
tone is in
would.
your mind, but the feel comes from your heart. Put them together with friends, with musical instruments. There's that guy who just tapped on his body and stuff. He didn't even need an instrument, right? Don't worry, be happy, right? That guy. I can't remember his name right now. But there's so many ways. So, but yeah, music is a great thing to have because it can definitely take you out of whatever moment you're in and take you somewhere. Thank you, BC Rich. Bobby McFerrin. Love that guy. Anyway, till next time, you guys rock on. Be good or be good at it. Janice, love you. And thank you. Love you all as well in the chats. Thank you to all the supporters so far that have been supportive of my shows. And I appreciate all the comments. I've had some pretty deep discussions with some people relating to some of the issues in the community, and I think we'll get through it all, right? Won't we all get through it all? I think we will. So be safe, everyone. Like Patrick here. Welcome, Patrick. Thank you. Be safe, everybody. Be safe and rock on, right, Janice?
Rock on.
Rock on.
Rock on.